Cade, how are you? Can you hear me?
There we go. I heard you. I'm good.
All right, there he is. Well, game number one's in the books. What'd you think?
It was fun. I think that's the biggest thing to say. We haven't been able to play in a long time, so getting to be out there and, finally getting to compete with all my teammates. We're all on the same team instead of competing with each other. It was fun.
How would you assess your performance and also the performance of the team?
I think me personally, I know I competed hard. I played hard. I think I could have took care of the ball a little bit better than what I did. Had a couple too many turnovers, but other than that, I think, really just my competitiveness and my effort, I think that was the best thing for me. And then as a team, we play hard, we play together. And, I think we can get a lot better, but it's the first game. We haven't played in a long time, and it's our first time all playing together. So lots of growth from, but it's easy to learn from a win.
Okay. Members of the media, if you have a question for Oklahoma State's Cade Cunningham, please click raise hand, and we're going to try and get to everybody. Our first question is going to come from Robert Allen from Triple Play Sports. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, Cade, I was wondering how you felt about your defense. Obviously, the 21 points and 10 rebounds, outstanding. How'd you feel you played on the defensive end?
I think I had a couple really good rotations, a couple really good, stops personally. But, I think it was just something that, it's my first time out there on the college level, something to learn from. I didn't think I was a poor defender out there, but I think I could really turn into a really good defender. So, just something to learn from and grow from. Thank you.
Next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Cade. I just want to ask, what did you think about the way you guys rebounded today?
I think we rebounded the ball really well. We had really three guys in double digits for rebounding. Myself, Keylan, and Isaac. So, I think as a team, we rebounded pretty well. I think on the offensive end, we could have got a couple more offensive rebounds and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think we rebounded pretty well.
And I know Moncrief kind of came into the season, a little bit under the radar. What do you think about just the motor that he showed today?
I think that's the biggest thing for him. I think he has, his skill set. He's so talented, and he's so gifted physically. I think just, when he plays hard, it's hard for teams to stay in front of him and stop him. So, having that today, I think he brought a big burst off the bench for us, and I think he's going to continue to do that.
I appreciate you.
Sir.
Our next question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Cade, how would you kind of rate your aggressiveness today? It seems at times you're passive maybe a little early, then you got really aggressive. How would you kind of rate that for yourself?
It's hard to rate. I just kind of find myself through the game. But I think whenever they went into the zone, I think I could have been a little bit more aggressive, just finding spots to get open and get shots off. But for the most part, I think I pretty much played through the system and played for the team, and I think we played well.
Was your first game kind of what you expected?
I don't know. I didn't really know what to expect, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I came in pretty open-minded and ready to adapt to whatever the game looked like. So, I think I did that pretty early in the game, and after that, I got comfortable.
Was it like coming home? Did you have jitters? Did you get to see family? What was it like coming home?
I think being home was what, brought me more comfort, kind of. I got to have my whole family that's been with me since, I've been playing basketball since I was a little kid. So having them there, they haven't been able to see me in a game for a long time. So I think that just kind of brought comfort and, kind of allowed me to be me.
Thanks, Cade.
Sure.
All right, our final question for Cade Cunningham will come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Cade, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, so you were talking earlier just about the excitement of getting back out there finally, but reduced crowd sizes and all of that. How did that factor in? How did that feel for the first time for you guys today?
It was definitely different. UTA actually did a pretty good job. Their fans were pretty loud in there. We could definitely hear them, but it was definitely different, not being able to see, you know, a packed gym or anything. But at the end of the day, we were there to play basketball, and we finally got to do that. So it was fun at the end of the day.
Do you think it's going to be an ongoing thing that you'll have to sort of adjust to? And I mean, there's some places that you guys would generally be going, including your home arena, that could be pretty lively. Is that going to be an adjustment throughout the year?
Definitely, but it's an adjustment for both teams, I think. So, you know, just finding a way to play through it, and play together as a team and bring energy from the bench and things like that. I think that's the biggest thing that a team could do. And I think, you know, our bench was really, really good, being loud for us, and our coaching staff was loud for us, so it really helped us out.
I guess you got to play some other games aren't getting off the board today. That's got to be at least a comfort.
For sure. I think, you know, we never know when we're going to play again. So, you know, there was already some canceled games and stuff like that. So we're just happy to get a game in.
All right. Thanks, Cade.
Thank you.
Cade, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate you. Congrats on the win. Have a safe trip home.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Keylan, how you doing, my friend?
Good, sir.
Good. Hey, I'll tell you what. Did you feel any difference in yourself today versus the last time you were wearing an actual uniform and playing?
A little more generous. Just me being in a bigger role this year. Other than that, don't feel no different.
All right. Well, you had a heck of a performance. Members of the media, if you have a question for Oklahoma State's Keylan Boone, please click raise hand and we'll try and get to you. Our first question is going to come from Chris Becker from the Oak-Collie. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Keylan, how you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing well. You know, how does it feel to finally get that first double-double of your career?
It was amazing. Lets me know, like, I really have an engine that I've been showing Coach that I've been doing in practice. He told me to take it to the next level. He's been telling me I'm a tremendous rebounder, so I've just been trying to, like, translate that to the real game, and it worked out.
Yeah, how would you grade your performance today? You know, what do you think you did the best at today?
Obviously, rebounding the ball, energy guy, very intense player. I try to keep my energy high and keep the defenders on their toes, obviously. But other than that, just be a good teammate. That's probably the best thing I could have done. Be a good teammate. So my brothers out there and just rebound basketball.
Thanks, Keylan.
Sure.
Our next question comes from Marshall Levinson from Pokes Report. Go ahead, Marshall.
Hey, Keylan. Just had a question about playing with some of these younger guys. I mean, you were a freshman last year, but not Cade, but what did you see from Rondale and some of those other younger guys that this is their first college game?
I see a lot of talent in them. Obviously, they're all ready to play. They're really all sponges. They're all open-minded. They just want to learn and help out once they get in. So being a sophomore, veteran now, I can see like their energy feeds off on me, feeds off on all of us who's returning. So now we're trying to give them all we can because we know they're giving us all that they can.
And Cade was asked about the limited capacity gyms and kind of you played last year in some pretty rowdy gyms. What was that like for you playing in a game where there wasn't really much of that?
It's really weird. It's really not what I'm used to, and always have been fans since I was a Jet. But obviously, it's something we got to adapt to. So as the opponents, but it's worth it because we just want to play basketball, and we've been sitting since forever now. Can't tell you the last time I played in Jersey, so like I'm just ready. And I know all my teammates and everybody else around the country is ready to play.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Keylan, how's it going?
Going good, sir.
Good. You guys, you seemed more aggressive today. Is that the biggest difference from last year and this year for you?
Yes. I'm playing very aggressive now. I'm not trying to be passive like I was last year. I feel like my main role last year was just to rebound and shoot open ones, but now since I got a bigger role, it's not that I'm so much ball dominant, but that have to be more in the plays. So I'm trying to make my appearance known when I'm on the court. So that if that means rebounding, shooting threes, guarding, being vocal, it's all the little stuff now. Really, the little stuff matters this year for me, I'd say.
Cade said that he kind of wants to be more aggressive against the zone and things like that. Do you guys have to tell him to be more aggressive?
I could say we have to tell him to, go ahead and pull that one. Then I'll get him going. Not so much be aggressive because he already brings his aggression, just more as in like when he has looks, he just has to take them. And that just comes with having more confidence. He has a lot of confidence. And like, that's just trust. Us believing in him to shoot the ball, make a drive, make a play. And we got his back for whatever happens after that.
Awesome. Thanks, Keylan.
Our next question comes from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Keylan, I know you guys run up and down the court a lot, in practice and so on, but this is the first time you guys got to play in a real competition. What was the chemistry feel like from the start of the game, all the way to the end of the game for you guys?
The chemistry is there. We've been working since everybody touched campus the first day. We all really have chemistry off the court. That's what helps on the court. We find each other away from basketball. We just always get together. We're always communicating. We're always hanging out. So it plays a big role once we get on the court. Now, when it translates on the court, obviously, we're actually pretty good. We like playing with each other. We have a feel. It's our first game. So, of course, we're finding new options, new ways to play around each other. But our chemistry is through the roof. I feel like it's only going to get better.
And this is a game where you guys had to battle at the end, to pull it out. How important was it for you guys to know off the bat, first game of the season, that you guys are able to pull out a game like that?
If you asked us, we were going to win by 6, 7, and the game was going to look like that, we take it. Let's just know it's a fight. Let's just know we have fight in us. Coach says each game might not be a pretty one, but it's a win, and we always take wins. So we'll take wins like that. We just got to keep playing, keep learning how to play within the system, and the little stuff that contributes to those wins. So we just got to keep playing, and it'll all work itself out going on through the season.
Appreciate you.
Our next question comes from Robert Allen from Triple Play Sports. Go ahead, Robert.
You know what, Gavin? I'll let somebody else go because Jacob pretty much asked what I wanted.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. In that case, the final question for Keylan Boone is going to come from Joseph Fazio from the Oak Collie. Go ahead, Joseph.
Hey, Keylan. How's it going?
Going good, sir.
I just want to ask about Matthew Alexander Moncrief. And, he got 11 points and 7 rebounds coming off the bench. How does it feel to have those type of players when Boynton has to look at the bench, that a guy like Matthew Alexander Moncrief can go out and score points?
Yeah, this is scary. I know if I was on the opposite team and I see a player like that, I'd be like, whoa. But on our end, it feels great. It lets me know, we're all college players. It lets me know that, he can take me out and put somebody else in and give the same production that I give and amp it up another 2 notches. Emma is a great player, and he brings a lot of production to our team. And just seeing him in leadership today, rather if we were starting on the bench to show us we actually have a special team this year. He is a sponge. He just wants to keep learning. And I feel that we have a special team this year, surely.
And he was coming out as a 4-star recruit. He was still recruited quite a bit, but not as many as other players, probably because of he only played at Canadian high school. How underrated do you think he is as a player?
He's very underrated, and I can see him being underrated. That only made him grind even more. He's such a gym rat. He loves the gym. There'd be times when I call him and he's in the gym. It makes me want to get up there, but he's very unappreciative through the media. But when it's with us, you can tell what he has, and we can see it all. So we don't take him for granted at all. And he shows it in practice, and he showed it today in his game. And it's only going to get better from here.
All right, thanks, Keylan.
So
sir.
Keylan, thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate you. Congratulations on the win. Have a safe trip home.
Yes, sir. Y'all be easy.
All right, you too. Coach, you took a young team on the road for the very first game of the season, and they come out with a win. Your thoughts, kind of how'd the game go? What'd you feel?
I'm always pleased with a win, no matter where it comes or how it comes. There are no bad wins, that's for sure. And certainly to do it under these circumstances, not just the pandemic, but that also. But going on the road with a bunch of new guys who haven't played a real game together before. I wouldn't say it was a terrifying environment, but it was a road game, and it was in a different environment than we're used to. We obviously have a lot of things to work on, but I'm sure proud of my kids for coming out here and figuring out a way to get away with a win over. But I think it's going to be a really good team in the Sun Belt. I think Coach Ogden does a really good job. These guys kept competing there. They didn't, we got up 10 or 11 there. They kept going back. Obviously, some of that was just unforced errors on our side, but I'm glad to get on this bus and head back to Stillwater 1-0.
So rebounding was a priority item for you going into this game. How do you think the guys did?
I thought we did pretty good in that area. It was an area we've been a little concerned about just because of our lack of depth up front. But it's an area that I thought we responded to because our guards did a really good job, and I talked about that for a few weeks. Those guys needing to help us on the defensive glass. What you saw today was just kind of a culmination of what we've been emphasizing in practice, that Cade and Ice are really going to have to toe the line, even playing point guard and helping us rebound. And then Keylan obviously did what he's been doing for a long time, which is really doing a good job. I think he almost had 10 in the first half.
You ever been around a game where two people who would basically be classified as point guards put up a double-double in the same game? Actually, one was one short, but
yeah, not points and rebounds for sure. And we almost had three guys get double doubles today in one game, which I don't know if that would have been the first or not, but it's something to be pretty proud of.
Very good. Members of the media, if you have a question for Oklahoma State coach Mike Boynton, please click raise hand. First question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Hey, so you mentioned a road game, obviously under the COVID umbrella. What was the road trip like? You guys don't ease into it all. You have to take the show on the road to start with. How did all that go, did you feel like?
It was different for sure. We don't have a huge team, right? There's only 15 guys, give or take. We still took 2 buses. So just to give guys enough space to kind of spread out and not be on top of each other. It's a little over 4-hour trip, so felt comfortable doing that. Everybody wore masks the whole time, and our meeting space was large enough where we could spread out, not be on top of each other. One of the things that I actually felt a little bad for, we came to Dallas, where we have 6 guys on our roster from, and I had to tell them, I don't know if it's a good idea for your family to come hang out with you at the hotel. And for the most part, they understand. We have unbelievable parents within our group, and so they were very understanding. Most of them stayed away. They came to the game and supported us. And I'm just glad to get home, and I'm glad we're able to play. There's been so many games canceled or postponed for whatever reason, and I'm just happy that our kids had a chance to compete today.
Keylan admitted that it did feel different. I mean, he played in some of those packed environments, last year. To not have that, is that going to be sort of an ongoing challenge to just get accustomed to when, whether it's at home or on the road for your guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. Obviously we hope we get as many people as we're allowed to have in our building, but it certainly won't be the most that we are able to have as a capacity. So it's certainly something we have to all get adjusted to. It'll be really a challenge. The team that adjusts to it and cannot focus on that, right, can bring their own energy, so to speak. Because I'm pretty certain we got Wichita State and Marquette both on our schedule, and I think both of them have announced that they won't have any fans. So, that'll be something that we just, again, have to adapt to. And, for our guys, it just preach the message. Let's be appreciative that we get an opportunity to compete.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you, you too.
Our next question is going to come from Marshall Scott from Pistol Firing. Go ahead, Marshall.
Hey, Mike, you guys started out shooting a lot of threes. I think you only got to the foul line once in the first half. Kind of coming into the year with your big guards, you think those numbers would kind of be opposite. Kind of just what was the game plan offensively going in?
Well, the game plan was to go inside. We got some really good looks. They packed it in pretty good and almost, wanted to challenge us to see if we could make them. And, I thought Keylan and Farron both got pretty good looks early in the game. Chris Harris, 3 of our best shooters. And they took shots that I needed them to take, that we needed them to take, and I have confidence that they'll make them. I like them to take them after we penetrate a little bit more or after we've thrown it into the post. But that's just not what happened today. And so I'm glad we're able to make the adjustment in the second half, and we got much more aggressive attacking the rim and getting ourselves to the free throw line.
You mentioned Chris. He came off hobbled a little bit. Is he going to be all right?
I think so. It's hard for me to say for sure. Just haven't talked to our trainers yet, but it's obviously something we're monitoring. He's still coming back. We certainly don't want to risk his future for any game this year. And so, we'll get more information hopefully tomorrow and find out whether he's a go for Saturday. If he isn't, then we'll have somebody else ready to roll.
Gotcha. I imagine we won't talk to you before Saturday. You play Texas Southern. Michael Weathers is on that team. He's obviously kind of had a up and down history at Oklahoma State. Have you kept in contact with him? What has that been like?
I haven't. I usually don't keep in contact with players who play at other schools. I actually think it's some sort of violation. I won't try that. But I wish him well. Same thing I saw. I hope he does well. I hope he has success in his life, and I hope he has a good career down there.
Gotcha. Appreciate it, Mike.
Our next question comes from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoma. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Mike. How would you kind of rate Cade today? What would you think of his performance?
I think he was good. He certainly wasn't his best. He's somewhere between a C+ and a B-. I thought he played the game the right way. He tried to attack. He picked his spots pretty well. He attacked in transition. He got the ball where he wanted to, pretty much when he wanted to. But there were a couple careless turnovers. There were a couple missed defensive assignments. And he got a little frustrated with the officials. But that's, his first game getting adjusted to this level. And so, I'm proud that he was able to compete with us. He helped us. He was talking about the right things in the huddle and certainly some things to build off of from today.
How much was kind of the first half for him feeling his way a little bit?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it's kind of who he is anyway, to be honest. He's not a super aggressive, scoring-minded person. But he knows, like we said before, at some point he's going to have the mindset he's got to take over. We saw some moments today where he knew he had to go create offense, and his ability showed. And so I was really pleased that he's got that ability. But he also rebounded well for us. He plays solid defense, not great, but we got to cut down those foul turnovers.
And M.A. was really impressive today, too, off the bench. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching these guys for a while now and recruited them because I thought they were really talented. He's got to adjust. He got himself in some foul trouble because being out of position defensively, but he's a long way from where he was a month ago at the defensive end. But obviously, you can see his offensive instincts and his athleticism around the rim is something that we'll definitely need as the year goes on.
And finally, the other day, you said the defense has come a long ways from what you thought it was a couple weeks ago. What did you think of it today? It seemed like times maybe it wasn't where you want it to be, but the numbers don't always show that today.
Yeah, I actually thought we defended pretty well. We held them under 40% field goal shooting. I mean, they didn't shoot great from three. Our biggest issue defensively were our turnovers. We turned the ball over, and it's hard to defend those. They would get out transition, and those number situations are really hard to stop. So that's the biggest concern of mine, is that we cut down on our turnovers, because when we were able to sit down and play 5-on-5 defense, I thought we were very solid.
Thanks, Mike.
Seemed like a lot of timely defensive stops too in there, Coach.
Yeah. We jumped up there. Ice got some big rebounds late. Cade got some big rebounds late. M.A. did. Keylan did. And Keylan, who didn't play particularly well at all. But when we got him back in there late after being in foul trouble, he certainly was a factor in the glass.
All right, I know you got a bust to catch here. You got just a couple more questions from the media. Next one will come from Robert Allen from Triple Play Sports. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, Coach, I don't play golf, but remind me not to play poker with you either, because if defensive rebounding was a weakness, boy, you're pretty good. I don't want to play poker with you. Talk about Keylan, because he was one of the answers in rebounding, and has he kind of morphed himself into the needs of the team?
Yeah, he really has. I'll be honest. I talked to Keylan about being willing and able to play differently than he played in high school, where he was allowed to just kind of float on the perimeter and shoot a bunch of jump shots, even though that's something he still does really well. But what I told him for our team, particularly this year, without a bunch of depth up front, that we need him to be able to rebound for us and defend bigger guys. And, to his credit, he hasn't flinched. He hasn't ever questioned it. I'll be honest, I got to give a little bit of credit to Cade on that, because Cade came in with the mentality of put me wherever you want. And it's hard for the other guys then to buck that. So when we talked about it earlier, it was really just Cade and Ice going down with our post guys, doing work in there, rebounding, learning how to play inside. But in the last probably 3 weeks, Keylan's been along with those guys. So he's really, really helped because of his buy-in and his ability to play really 2 through 4 for us on the defensive end.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, and our final question for Coach is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Mike, when you've got a roster this young, sometimes the best thing for them is for them to find a way to grind out a close game late. How beneficial is that for you to be able to have this experience on the opening night?
Listen, I mean, I would rather this than a 30-point game, to be perfectly honest. It's hard to get, especially young guys, to see their mistakes when you win by that kind of margin. Well, now I can show them we were up 11. Our turnovers really put them in position to take the lead. They did at one point in the second half. And now I can go back and say, hey, guys, when we go on the road in December to Austin, when we go on the road next week to Marquette, at that level, those teams don't let you get back and take the lead again. So it was really good for us. We always take a win, but I'd rather be able to teach these lessons through a close win than try to convince them that they did something wrong when we won by 30 points.
And I know they've established chemistry all through the offseason and practices, but what did you think about how they, their first competition played together from, the start of the game until, the second half?
You talking Emma and Cade?
Oh no, just the entire team.
Yeah, we still are trying to figure each other out. It's one thing to practice, but then it's another thing to go out there and everybody be together. Right? There's days where Ice and Cade are playing together, and there are days where they're competing against one another. So it's not a consistent amount of chemistry that we've built. But they know each other pretty well. It's just about finding ways to adjust to how the other team is going to guard us now. What we saw today was we were able to get the ball inside to Ice, Cade, and MA in particular, and take advantage of their size against guys. And then we got some open shots for Farron late and Keylan late that opened up the floor for us.
Appreciate you.
So, Coach, that'll do it for questions, but is there anything maybe that we missed or anything that you wanted to say just to kind of take us home here?
No, first of all, I appreciate you guys being here. I hope it was an enjoyable first game. We got a lot to build on. I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, safe travels, and hope to see maybe a couple of you in the building on Saturday and maybe some of you back on the computer.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. Happy Thanksgiving. Safe travels home. Members of the media, thank you as well. We appreciate you.